We all want to fast track our students' academic success. And so today I'm going to share with you some strategies that I use to help me get my students to show academic growth and be academically successful very quickly. So I'm not going to waste your time. We're going to get right into the video. One of the things we do is we incorporate regular practice. Have you ever gone to a ball game, watched the team play, know for a fact that they've never practiced, and they get out there and they just blow the other team out? Very rare. The best ball teams practice, practice, practice. So I tell my students all the time, you can't show up at a championship game and expect to win if you never had practice. If you haven't gone over the drills, if you haven't studied the other team's strategies. And it's the same way academically. You have to train your students how to respond to the questions on their test, what they expect on their test, and they need to know how long they have to answer each question that they're taking on the test, especially if they're taking state standardized tests like most students do. So one of the key components to improving your students' academic success and doing it the fast way is by ensuring that they practice, practice, practice. I said it before, I'm going to say it again. We have to practice. We also need to make sure that our students know test-taking strategies. They have to know how to take a test. This includes knowing things like how to read a passage quickly, how to scan for information, how to look for keywords, how to use words next to the word to figure out the meaning of any unknown words. This is all ways that you can help your students fast track their way to academic success. Another thing we're going to ensure that we do is make sure that you are differentiating instruction. All of our students do not learn the same. All of us are not the same. We're individual people. And the minute we can realize that as educators, that we can make a fantastic difference. Tell you a true story. I have a coworker who confessed that her first year of teaching was not so good. And it wasn't so good because she saw everything in black and white. She treated all of her students the same. She had the philosophy that you did your work, you did it the way I told you, and that was it. She says that as she grew, she later learned that everything was not black and white. Things were also gray. So she said if she ever got a chance, she was going to apologize to her students she had that first year because she did not teach them the way she should have. She was not willing to differentiate instruction. And we have to be willing to do that if we want our students to be successful. What are your goals? We can't expect our students to achieve the goals we set for them if they don't know what those goals are. We need to ensure that our students know what the goal is, what their goal is as far as test taking go, and how that they can get to that goal. We do that by having data talks with our students. Be sure to check out my video on data talks. And we keep pushing them towards a higher standard. That feeds into teacher expectations. If our expectations are low, then our students are not going to perform to the level in which we think they are. But that's like financial goals, personal goals, any goals whatsoever. We can't reach them if we don't know what they are. So make sure you're talking to your students about the goals that you want them to reach as we go throughout the year. And this is another strategy that's going to help us fast track our students. Before we go any further with this video, if you have not already, please give this video a like, a thumbs up, and that you subscribe so I continue to give you more teaching tips and hacks. And I will see you back in the video. To giving your students constructive criticism. We want to be able to tell them what they need to work on, how they need to work on it, and we want to do it with love because we know if our students think we're angry all the time, we're not being nice, or we don't love them, then they usually don't perform as well as we want them to on their test. So we're going to provide them with feedback. We're going to also make sure that feedback includes constructive criticism. And this is a key, my goodness, one of the most important things you can do is get your parents and stakeholders to buy into the whole test-taking process. A lot of parents feel like test-taking is a waste of time. It's something their students shouldn't have to do. And I've heard my students tell me recently that their moms or their dads told them that they didn't have to pass the test in order to move on, especially in certain areas. Now, where I'm from, and I'm from Mississippi, as your students move into high school, they have to pass certain subject area tests in order to pass. Where in certain other areas, they don't have to. So this is my thing. Whether they have to pass the test to pass, or whether it's just a way of rating your school because of how well your child is doing, then we want them to know it is important that their child do their best. So let's get our stakeholders to buy in. Do whatever you can to get your parents involved, get your parents motivated, get them pumped up. You can post articles in a newspaper. You can send out newsletters. You can do blog posts. You can do, if you have the funds, you still have the funds, you could also run commercials on like the radio or show up on the news, your local news, talking about the importance of the test scores and how it is so vital that their child does well on the test. You can also arm your parents with some things that their child can do to ensure that they do well on their test, like go to bed early, eat a good breakfast, study, look over their notes, get a study buddy. All of these are some things, simple things that they can do as parents to help them. They can also help their students, their child. They can also ask their kids some things like, what did you talk about today in class? What did you learn? And ask them some questions. What was a good ending to that story? How could you have changed that around? Show me how you work that math problem out. Oh, is this what you're learning in science class? Explain that to me. All of these are things that your parents can do to show that they are buying into the educational process, and it can help skyrocket your test scores. Another thing that you can do is foster a growth mindset within your students. Our students need to know it's important for them to grow, to learn, to become productive citizens. Because at the end of the day, this is not all about test scores. It's also about them being able to function in the workplace. This is about them being a productive citizen in our society. This is about them helping to contribute and provide a better life for their families, immediate families they have now, and for their families they have in the future. So if you want to know how to skyrocket and fast track your test scores in a short amount of time, these are some strategies that you can use to help your student. Don't forget, if you haven't done so already, to like, subscribe, and comment below on a strategy that you're going to use with your parents and your students to increase your test scores at this final countdown. I will see you guys so much in the next video.